For years, the Florida real estate party has been raging, fueled by endless sunshine, record low interest rates, and a massive influx of new residents chasing the dream. Home prices kept climbing, and everyone wanted a piece of the action. It felt like the market was unstoppable. But now, the music might be about to stop. For thousands of homeowners and investors, the Florida dream is facing a serious reality check. We're not talking about a massive 2008-style crash that hits everywhere, all at once. Instead, what's unfolding is more subtle. A complex mix of skyrocketing insurance costs, a wave of new construction flooding the market, an affordability squeeze that's pushing many buyers out. This combination is creating what experts call localized corrections, pockets of the market where prices aren't just slowing down, they're actively dropping. Some will tell you it's just a soft landing, a gentle cool down after years of rapid growth, but the data paints a different picture. Certain cities in Florida are on much shakier ground than others. In today's video, we're counting down the top 10 Florida cities where the housing bubble isn't just losing air, it's deflating fast. Whether you're a buyer, seller, or investor, knowing which markets are at risk can save you thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars. So make sure to watch closely as we break down the cities to watch, the trends driving this shift, and what it means for anyone involved in Florida. Real estate right now. Before we dive in, if you want to stay ahead of these market changes and get more real estate insights, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the Real Estate Scouts. It really helps the channel and keeps you informed. All right, let's get started. The countdown begins. Number 10. Gainesville. Kicking off our list at number 10 is Gainesville. On the surface, it's the quintessential affordable college townhome to the University of Florida. A youthful vibe, and historically, a haven from the sky-high prices of the coasts. But that very perception is what masks some serious underlying risks. The core issue in Gainesville is an economic mismatch. The city is grappling with a tough job market that simply has not kept pace with the explosive rise in the cost of living. While home prices and rents shot up during the pandemic boom, local wages remained relatively stagnant. This creates a dangerous economic trap, especially for residents who aren't affiliated with the university's higher-paying jobs. When the cost of everything from groceries to housing outpaces what people earn, something has to give. Give is now being seen in the housing market. As the broader market slows and interest rates remain elevated, the pool of qualified buyers shrinks. This puts steady, downward pressure on property values. Gainesville is a classic textbook reminder that affordability on its own is not a magic shield. A housing market cannot stay propped up forever without a strong, diverse local economy to support it. Number 9. Daytona. Beach cruising in at number 9 is Daytona Beach, famous for its iconic speedway, bike week, and miles of drivable beaches. Its housing market has hit a few jarring speed bumps of its own. This is a market whose fortunes have always been tied to the tide of tourism. The most telling sign of trouble is the slowdown in sales. Homes in the Daytona area are sitting on the market for much longer, with the average time to close a sale now stretching to a lengthy 86 days. Think about what that means for a seller. 3 months of continued mortgage payments, insurance, taxes, and uncertainty. That pressure often leads to one thing: price cuts. While the market isn't in a complete freefall, its deep vulnerability to the whims of tourism makes it a precarious bet. When the national economy tightens, discretionary spending on vacations is one of the first things to go. That impacts local jobs, local income, and ultimately local housing demand. Compounding this, inventory has been piling up, giving the few buyers in the market more power to negotiate. For those seeking stable, long-term growth, Daytona Beach currently feels less like a sure thing and more like a high-stakes gamble. Number 8. Jacksonville's lighting. Into the number 8 spot is Jacksonville. Jocks, as it's known, was a superstar of the pandemic boom. It was seen as the last bastion of affordability for a major Florida city, attracting a wave of remote workers and families. Developers saw this gold rush and went into overdrive. Now the consequences of that building frenzy are coming home to roost. The primary challenge facing Jacksonville is a massive and growing supply of homes for sale. That surge in inventory is now meeting a wall of much softer buyer demand, thanks to higher interest rates and economic uncertainty. The numbers are stark. Active listings in the Northeast Florida region have surged, creating a sea of for sale signs. It's taking much longer to sell a home here compared to the peak. While the median prices have only dipped modestly so far, around 3%, that single number doesn't tell the whole story. The market feel has completely changed.
Right.
The negotiating power has swung dramatically from the seller to the buyer. Sellers are now competing fiercely for a smaller pool of buyers, which means more price reductions, more seller concessions, and a longer, more stressful selling process. The boom is officially over in Jacksonville. Number 7. Orlando coming in at number 7 is Orlando, the city where dreams are made. But in the housing market, the magic is showing clear signs of fading. For years, Orlando was a real estate powerhouse, with home values posting relentless, double-digit appreciation. That era has ended. Home values in the Orlando metro have registered a noticeable year-over-year decline in 2025, depending on the data source. That drop is hovering somewhere between 2.6% and 2.9%. While that might not sound like a crash, it's a monumental shift for a market that once seemed unstoppable. Inventory is up significantly across the area. Homes are taking far longer to sell, now sitting for around 67 days on average. Happening in Orlando is a classic market correction. Prices got ahead of themselves, fueled by speculation and low-cost money. Now, with affordability stretched to its breaking point for the city's army of service and hospitality workers, the market is being forced to find a more sustainable level. It's not a crash, but it is a significant and necessary cooldown that is catching many recent buyers off guard. Number 6. West Palm. Beach breaking into our top 6 is the metro area of West Palm Beach. This wealthy coastal enclave is a key part of a much broader market correction happening all across South Florida. Like its neighbors, inventory has climbed steadily, and homes are sitting on the market for a median of 88 days, nearly 3 months of waiting for sellers. But the real story in West Palm Beach, and a dark preview of what we'll discuss later, is the insurance crisis. This is the primary force squeezing homeowners and putting a hard ceiling on property values. The cost of ownership is skyrocketing, not because of mortgages, but because of jaw-dropping insurance premiums. When a homeowner's insurance bill suddenly doubles or triples in a single year, it fundamentally changes the financial equation of owning that home. It eats into the budget, reduces disposable income, and makes the property drastically less affordable, even if the mortgage payment stays the same. This runaway cost is creating a silent crisis that limits how high property prices can realistically go, and it's a problem that is only getting worse. All right, we're halfway through our countdown, and a clear picture is starting to emerge. This isn't a simple, uniform story of boom or bust. It's a complex mosaic of local markets. It's getting repriced based on its own unique pressures. If you're finding this deep dive breakdown useful, and if you want to stay on top of these critical market shifts that could impact your own financial decisions, do me a huge favor and hit that like button and subscribe with Real Estate Scout. It takes a single click, but it genuinely helps the channel grow and ensures that more people get access to this crucial information. Okay, let's get back to it and enter the top 5. The cities where the housing correction isn't just a cool down. It's far more intense. Number 5. Lakeland. Kicking off our top 5 is Lakeland. For years, Lakeland's strategic location, it's perfectly positioned between the major job hubs of Tampa and Orlando, made it a darling of the housing boom. It became a magnet for buyers who were priced out of the bigger cities looking for more space and better value. Now, Lakeland is a prime example of a market rebalancing from that frenzy. It's a victim of its own success. The influx of demand led to a boom in new construction. But now that demand has cooled, that new inventory is flooding the market. Homes here are now sitting for an average of 81 days. For sellers who bought just a year or two ago, that's an eternity. The dynamic is a classic case of supply and demand 101. The surge of new construction has met a wall of cooling demand, creating a textbook buyer's market. Inventory is high and prices are softening as sellers are forced to compete. Lakeland's story is a cautionary tale for any market that booms, primarily because it's the affordable alternative next door. When the primary markets cool, these secondary markets often feel the chill even more acutely. Number 4. St. Petersburg. Number 4, we have St. Petersburg. St. Pete has had an incredible run. Its vibrant art scene, beautiful waterfront, and lively downtown fueled a massive multi-year run-up in prices that transformed the city. But that party is officially winding down, and the hangover is setting. In the St. Pete market is in a clear and undeniable correction. Average home values are down a startling 7.8% over the past year, and that's just the average. Some specific zip codes within the city have seen even more dramatic drops, with one falling nearly 14%. Imagine buying a home and seeing its value plummet by that much in just 12 months. Homes are taking significantly longer to sell, and the inventory has absolutely ballooned, giving what few buyers are left a massive amount of leverage. The vibrant, frenetic energy of the boom has been replaced by a tense waiting game. St. Petersburg is a stark example of how markets that run up the fastest and hottest can often experience the most painful corrections on the way back down. 3. Northport, or third city, is Northport, a sprawling community in Sarasota County that has been a focal point of the Florida real estate story. This market has been repeatedly flagged by national real estate analysts as having a very high risk of price decline, and those predictions are now playing out in real time, like its neighbors. Northport was a prime target for rampant development. During the boom, builders couldn't put up homes fast enough. This has led to a colossal surge in inventory that has completely swamped the market. The result? Values are down significantly. Zillow reported a staggering 9.6% drop. Year over year, as of June 2025, homes here are sitting on the market for well over 2 months, and a huge majority of them are selling for under the initial asking price. This isn't just a cooling, it's a sharp reversal. Northport exemplifies a market that was arguably built on speculation, and now that the speculative fever has broken, it's facing a painful repricing. Number 2. Miami. Taking the number 2 spot is the glittering metropolis of the Miami metro area. But the story here is more complicated than a simple bubble popping. This is about a long-term systemic affordability crisis reaching a catastrophic breaking point. The single greatest threat to the Miami market is the catastrophic rise in the cost of ownership, and it's being driven by a full-blown insurance meltdown. For the average homeowner, this is the real crisis. We're hearing stories of homeowners who have seen their insurance premiums soar from $5,000 a year to $15,000 or even $20,000 a year. These are not luxury mansions. These are regular homes for working families. The cost increase of that magnitude makes a once affordable home suddenly and completely untenable. While the ultra-luxury market is funded by international cash buyers, operates in its own stratosphere. The foundation for the average homeowner is being systematically eroded by costs that have nothing to do with the home itself. This isn't just a market correction. It's a financial and environmental reality check. The market is being forced to reckon with the real. It's a long-term cost of living in a region so exposed to climate risks, and it is choking the life out of the middle-class dream. Number 1. The clear and undisputed epicenter of Florida's housing correction in 2025, Cape Coral. If you want to see all the forces we've discussed, overbuilding, affordability, and insurance canned, urge into a perfect storm, this is it. This market is experiencing a sharp, severe repricing after absolutely booming during the pandemic. Average home values in Cape Coral have fallen by over 9% year over year. Other reports show the median sale price dipping around 7.9% annually, confirming that sellers are taking heavy discounts to get deals done. The market is flooded with listings, with over 3,200 homes for sale, creating an enormous 7-month supply of inventory. A market is considered balanced at 5 to 6 months. A 7-month supply signifies a strong buyer's market where sellers have very little power. To make matters worse, homes are sitting on the market for nearly 3 months on average. Add in some of the state's highest property insurance costs due to its coastal location and hurricane history, and you have the perfect recipe for a deep and painful market correction. All the elements of the Florida housing slowdown are on display here in their most extreme form. Cape Coral is without a doubt ground zero for this localized downturn. Conclusions. So there you have it. From the oversupplied suburbs of Jacksonville to the insurance-plagued coast of Miami and the correcting epicenter of Cape Coral, the Florida housing market is undergoing a dramatic and fundamental shift. This isn't 2008. It isn't a single statewide event, but a series of sharp, painful, localized corrections happening in the specific markets that flew too close to the sun. The key drivers are now crystal clear. First, crippling insurance rates that are destroying affordability from the inside out. Second, a massive surge in housing inventory from a building boom that has now collided with cool-down demand. And third, strained affordability after prices were pushed to unsustainable levels. Together, these forces have created a new landscape, where risk has decisively returned to the market. The era of guaranteed double-digit appreciation in Florida is over. What we're witnessing is a necessary, if painful, return to fundamentals for markets that got dangerously overheated. The question is no longer if this correction will continue, but how deep it will ultimately go in these specific areas, and which city might be next. But that's my analysis of the data. Now I want to hear from you. What are you seeing on the ground? In your part of Florida? For sale signs sitting in yards for months? Are you seeing more and more price reduction alerts in your inbox? Or is your neighborhood bucking the trend? Drop your thoughts, your city, and your stories in the comments below. Let's keep this crucial conversation going.